It's lovely. Keep going. Don't stop.
Are we on?
We're on.
Oh,
we are live.
Sorry. I'm still out of tune.
Hey, everybody. How are you
Look
guys?
at all these people. Thank you for joining us at 6 o'clock. Hey, Greg.
There's an audible.
Marilee with her heya. I have, I hope Marilee doesn't mind me. I'm going to credit Marilee with something.
I got to get...
Welcome to Eugene and Dylan's Guitar Show.
Well, oh, yes, of
I'm
course.
Eugene Edwards over here. That's Dylan Kelly.
Hey there. How's everybody
The
doing?
doctor is in. So it was kind of an Ask Me Anything sort of evening here, our new time of 6 o'clock. And I'll be honest with you, it's not completely arbitrary. My domestic schedule, if you will. My daughter has, I have to pick up my kid from campus, and her new schedule came out, and they're trying to get here by 5:30 was just,
Impossible.
I barely made it by 6, to be honest with you.
Impossible.
So thank you for following us with this.
I'm impressed everybody figured out to be here at 6.
These are smart people.
Yeah,
these
they're
are smart, good-looking people.
Yeah.
So Marilee, in the chat, she asked me something during a private lesson, and this was, sometimes someone will ask you something that's just, it's so thought-provoking. Okay, so she and I have been discussing the Mixolydian scale and mode.
Oh, yes, Mixolydian, of course. Yes.
And for those of you that may not, or if you're not familiar or you may not remember, Mixolydian is simply, as a scale, it's simply the major scale, but with a flattened seventh. The 7th degree of the scale is flattened. So if it were playing a G major scale, now to make that Mixolydian, we're going to take this note of F sharp, and we're going to make it F natural. So then the G Mixolydian scale sounds like this. So it's kind of it's like the bluesier, more laid back, cooler older brother to the major scale.
Yes.
Right. It's just got a little more vibe.
Yeah,
to it.
it's the older brother. You know that there's some.
He smokes.
He smokes. I was going to say he's a smoker. That's what I was going to say.
You know,
there's smoking. It happens.
And he's that older brother. He calls all the teachers by their first names. You know that guy.
And they let him get away with it.
and they just like,
yeah.
So, and what we were talking about in our lesson about this, we were talking about many things, but one thing I was saying in the in the genre of rock and roll music,
The rock of genre.
the rock of genre. Did you see Rock of Genre? She was on the Grammy. She was
fantastic.
Looks fantastic.
Amazing.
Sounded great.
Yes. That's actually not a bad name for like a star, to be honest with you.
So,
we need a stand that doesn't have dysfunction. Did you tighten it all the way? Did you do it all the way?
I barely got here.
Okay.
So I would say the Mixolydian scale is sort of like is more common in rock music than the major scale. In terms of songs
Yes.
in rock, probably use Mixolydian more than the major. For like, here's an example. Would be
Whoa, whoa.
So All Right Now by Free. It's in A. So we have the 1 chord, the 4, back to the 1, but then it's the flat 7 of G natural. And that it just stays there the whole time. And the one cool, it's very cool because the whole song just kind of rides to the so it's A, G, D. It just cycles through those 3 chords. Now, what's really cool is towards the end of the guitar solo, the break.
Yeah.
And then they actually play the E major to get out of there, and then they go back to So for a moment, it actually kind of switches to A major scale because it plays the normal 5 chord with the G sharp in it. And so I'm saying, but now in rock, we tend to use Mixolydian where we have that flat 7 chord. I think of like Sweet Home Alabama. It's D, C, G. So this isn't D Mixolydian. It's the 1 chord, the flat 7 chord, the 4 chord, and over again, right? And or another great example to hear the difference between a major scale and a Mixolydian would be Hey Jude. The first half is in F major. We actually hear E natural. We hear the major 7th in the melody. We hear the proper 5 chord. We even hear the dominant.
Yeah, that's true. All that's true.
And then of course, flat 7 to the 4.
That's right.
Hey Jude.
Oh, you're doing an F.
Still
That's
an
the original
F,
key.
but we're an F Mixolydian because we have this flat 7 chord. 4. And as we know, that goes on. So much like Sweet Home Alabama, Hey Jude, it's like 1 flat 7 4. That's the chord progression. It's a really common rock chord progression because, and here's why.
Well, they call it a backdoor turnaround in jazz.
In jazz, it's called back. Yeah. So when we take our major 7th, right, which is only a half step away from our root note,
sure,
it causes that
tension
to resolve to the 1.
Yes.
Right. It really is. That's why when we have like our 5 chord, in like in the case if we're in the key of A, let's say, and I'm going to play my E7 right before, like you really want it to resolve
something
to
to
A.
happen. Something better happen.
It pushes. It really wants to settle back into the 1 chord there. But when we flatten the 7th, we now have a whole step in between the 7th and the root. And so the pressure's off.
Yeah.
It's not dying to resolve so much, which was why Sweet Home Alabama, it just goes on over and over again. The second half of Hey Jude, it just goes on over and over again because you just play it as long as you want because there's no need to resolve the push to resolve. So then I'm explaining this to Marilee.
Yeah.
And she asks, this is so bright. She says, so do songs using this Mixolydian chord change, do those records tend to fade out? Mind blow. I had to take a nap. I was like, probably.
I mean, yeah. Well, Hey Jude. So Hey Jude.
Hey Jude. Sweet Home
Alabama.
A lot of these songs
both of those
they
examples
fade out.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. I was like, really. I was like, yeah. I guess if I were writing or recording a song that was strongly in a Mixolydian, I would think, I'd probably fade it out because
I can think of songs that have a button ending, but even those fade out, I guess. But like one of them is what's the name of the song? I can't remember it. You're mine. Me side. Anyways, it's
does it have a button at the end?
Yeah, it's be my angel.
Oh yeah, they just wind it down. Like,
yeah, but that's basically a fade in human form. If you think about it,
fade, exactly.
Like the batteries run out on the Bears at Chuck E. Cheese.
I think it's past Dave's bedtime already. Sorry,
oh,
buddy.
Dave.
Oh yeah, sorry for those on the East Coast. I realized we kind of probably.
What is it? What time is it? 9 on the East Coast.
9 over there.
Thank you, Scott. Possum King.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
I will promise you, I will treat you well, my sweet angel. So help me, Jesus. It's like from junior high. So
instead of Mixolydian, it's mix a little flat 7 in.
Mix a little flat 7. Well,
very good.
This is a really, you know what? So
very cool, Eric. I like it.
There's quite a few players that are very popular for using Mixolydian in a way that separates their playing from other blues players.
Okay.
In specific. So like one of his like.
Wait, let me ask you. So that was over a D.
Yeah. So like
what would be the groove? Sorry.
It's Eric Johnson. That's the type of stuff he does. So he does a lot of mixo, pentatonic, and I'll show you guys something. So you can take any mode. Now we're in the advanced corner. Okay.
If you don't mind, come on. It's 2026. We're just gonna.
Okay. I don't even know what that was. Anyways, okay. So if we take a mode and we eliminate 2 notes, we can make a pentatonic version.
Yeah, that's
of the mode.
Yes. Got that, Marilee? Got that?
Because I mean, it's not just for the devil. We can do it too, right? And so basically, we're taking it back. Actually,
yeah. Like for instance, there is a pentatonic mixolydian.
That's right. I'm about to make it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You ready for this?
I'm sorry.
So here we go. So
I'm seeing 1, 3.
1, 3. So we skipped the 2.
Right.
Here's the regular scale.
It's a regular mixolydian scale right there. It's all 7 notes.
You're
of the scale.
a lot of stepwise movement, obviously.
Yeah, there's a lot of room in there.
Now, when we hear the pentatonic version,
1, 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1. Yeah, again, whole steps and whole half. So it's very pentatonic.
Large shapes,
because of those wide.
We could do this with any. If we wanted to do it with Aeolian.
That's lovely.
That's gonna bring a snake out of a basket.
Sure.
If you do that to. But the point is so players. Eric Johnson is one of the biggest ones. Are associated with this scale. Eric Gales Jr. actually is really into this, and they'll take 3 note per string versions of the pentatonic scale and sort of make it into a mixolydian style scale. So just this shape. So, and they go even further and move down into other shapes, like
right. That way, they're starting points. That way, they're not in the same.
Joe Bonamassa is another player that does this all the time. They're very pentatonic. Mixolydian sounding players. It's a big part of their just kind of shred. So, if you're into that style at all, the mixolydian scale is certainly something you want to nail down.
It's a groovy one, and it's anyway. So I've been working with Marilee. I found some backing tracks on YouTube. It was with just 4 chord progressions, and having her just use. In fact, there's one. She found a backing track. It's E minor, G, D, A, and it's that.
I walk this. That's that song, right?
No, I don't think it's just a back. It's just a. But you're But for that, I'm having her just play instead of trying to like follow the changes. Just find one mode, one scale, and listen to how it behaves over
the top of that.
Yeah, and for her, I gave her. Well, if she intuitively she was playing E minor pentatonic over that, which works really well.
Or G major. Yeah.
Well, and I said, stick with your E minor pentatonic.
Yeah.
Just add the sharp 6, add the C sharp to that,
and you've
just add that one note.
Hexatonic scale.
It's a hexatonic scale. Right. In fact, he saw his shadow.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the hex.
And it's funny, just adding one more note. To a pentatonic like that can really add so much color and vibe. And she's like the E minor pentatonic there were no sour notes. It just wasn't. It just didn't feel like she was really. She didn't.
You got to stylize
lyrical.
it a lot to make it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's really now. And I told you there's a couple of other scales you can try out over that same chord change. But for right now, let's go here. But you're right. The G major would work.
Sure.
D major obviously works, and the A mixolydian scale.
Works. Yeah. That's because you're treating the. Basically, when you approach these scales from another key like that, you end up having a different sound because you just play those scales differently, and you start on different notes. So you really end up with a totally different tone.
And when thinking about this, now this is things that I guess I somewhat consciously think about if I'm about to take a solo. If I'm just on a cover gig,
right,
or I'm in the studio and it's, I guess I do. You do end up making a decision on. To me, I'm thinking I need to make a decision about my thirds and my sevenths.
My thirds and my sevenths.
Am I Can I get away with a minor third here and there? Can I get bluesy, basically? Can I?
Yeah.
And how do I manage is this a major 7 vibe or is this a flat 7 vibe?
Can we do an assignment with everybody on
Please,
that?
everybody.
So everybody go and listen to the Kid Rock version of Sweet Home Alabama. I can't. What's it? All Summer Night?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. All Summer Night Long, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And go fast forward to the guitar solo, which is what you should already be doing
Probably
if you're 16. And you'll hear someone that plays all in a minor pentatonic scale over the song. The entire solo is in D minor pentatonic. And
aren't the chord changes D, C, G?
Yeah, it's the same song. And so for my ear, it sounds wrong the whole time, pretty much, because this is okay.
Because you scooped up to the major third there, right?
That's all right, but if you're going... It's like, it's not that it just sounds like you're on the blues part of your solo the whole time instead of kind of making a melody and then
build, like you gotta earn that.
You gotta earn that.
Yeah, I know. This is something that's another cool thing. It is.
You finally give up and just play your licks.
It is
basically.
It's not the saddest of all solos, but it's the solo that makes us sad.
Yeah. So Eric, I want you guys to listen to that and tell me what you think, because that's a song that desperately wants Mixolydian. And this, and by the way, I'm not actually knocking the player at all. I'm saying that because that's a choice, right? Like these are subjective choices.
That's a choice.
Like what do you? How do you objectively say that was wrong and you will pay for it in the afterlife? Like there's no. So, anyways, the point is, I want you guys to listen to that solo in All Summer Night Long. I feel like that's probably Midsummer Night Dream. Yeah,
that's when Shakespeare and Kid Rock.
Yeah, because they had a
thing.
But anyway, so check it out and tell me what you think. Versus if we're playing Sweet Home Alabama. So here, play Sweet Home Alabama for me. So like this song wants you to play in D major or D Mixolydian. And if you play in minor the whole time, keep going. It's not that it sounds like
there's nowhere else to go.
There's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're at the climax of your soul, the blues end, where you were like, screw it, I'm just gonna do my.
I completely agree. Yeah,
you hear what I'm talking about.
Well, and also this is so just to be mindful on the bandstand. So if I'm in a situation where if there's another guitar player, and we're both playing leads, depending on songs, and if there's a song where if I solo first, I will specifically let's say it's just a rock tune. Let's say it's All Right Now, and we're just extending it. Okay, so we're doing that thing. If I'm playing a solo, I would, in this case, I would stay with a Mixolydian, maintaining that major third. I'd stick with that right
Sounds
there.
a little bit like you're playing the changes, kind of, basically.
Very much.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to move into, I don't want to put in that minor third or a flat 5. I want to save those really hard blues notes, leave something on the table for the other guy.
Right, because he's going to have to go, or he or she's going to have to
because
hit it hard.
This song is happening in a chronological timeline, folks.
Sure. Right.
And I want to leave some notes. I want to leave some stuff. I want to leave that stuff
for
later.
Intensity.
Intensity.
Yeah.
I mean, I went first. Sometimes I really like going first because I can reinstate the melody.
Yeah.
I can steer that bus a lot, but I'm also going to be a little conservative with some of my harder blues notes or blues scale notes. That way, again, just let that other player let them, because if you come in and you spend all that stuff,
right?
Well, it doesn't matter which one of you played it. As far as the audience knows, like, well, we heard those notes. It didn't matter which amp it came out of.
Yeah.
And so you've got to just be thoughtful about that sort of stuff.
So you can also make an arpeggio out of one of these scales. Very similar to if you guys are familiar with the diminished arpeggio, as opposed to the diminished scale. So this is like. So that is basically a sliding mixopentatonic scale.
A sliding mixopentatonic. So it's mixolydian, it's pentatonic.
Well, it's like a sliding. It's 7, 1, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it is a pentatonic scale. Yeah.
I guess it's 5 notes. Any 5 notes can be a.
And it's a really cool way to access this scale without having to play it stepwise.
So I think someone's just requesting Freebird in general. But,
of course.
But Jim's
Greg,
asking, can you play in Mixolydian in C or F? Well, first, you can play Mixolydian. It doesn't matter what key.
Sure.
All you have to do is just think of that major scale. Let's say if you're in the key of C, think of your C major scale. But you're going to take that 7th note, the 7th degree of your scale, and you're going to flatten it. So in the case of C, Mixolydian, it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C.
Yeah.
And then if you're in F, likewise, you're going to play the F major scale, but you're going to flatten the 7. Is that what you mean, Jim? If I misunderstood your question, by all means, throw that back in there. I just,
So one of the things you guys can do if you just want to be able to nail down the sound of these, if you can play a major scale on one string, if you know it's whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So you just start from open, go up a whole step. Then if you change that equation to have a whole step at the end, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to end up with... And that's a real way to kind of be able to understand it because it's hard to understand guitar in part because our scales are often played in a vertical fashion, so we need them usually linearly to understand it. And on a piano, they have that advantage. They don't look as cool as us, and they generally don't dress as good.
Kind of a side. Sometimes if I'm giving lessons on how to play slide guitar,
sure,
that's something that's one of the first things.
Yes.
Once we decide what kind of slide is good, and we can talk but just play the major scale on one string
and make it sound good.
And
because that's enough right there,
right? And to me, it's like because your ear knows what it's supposed to sound like. You'll know if you're off. And so instead of like starting with actual licks, if you will,
sure.
To me, I'm thinking just the control to play the. If I had a slide. That's and on each string, just kind of and you can choose any. So that was E major, obviously. But what if I played the C major scale on the E string?
The E, so you're starting on E. And the cool thing, I love slide because it's all vibes. Slide is all vibes. Like unless you're Derek Trucks, then it's all potentially magical dust fairy powder. But slide is vibes. You don't have to play the most complicated things.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
in fact,
I'm with you now.
Don't play.
Yes, right.
The way to make slide awesome is make it sound like a singing blues or gospel singer.
You're emulating the human voice.
Exactly.
Is really what the great slide players do.
Absolutely.
And you're right. It's not like they have access to many more notes all of a sudden just because you put something on your finger. No, it's just that the vibrato and the way that you can the glissando, I guess, going up or down into this. I mean, really, what's cool, like Dwayne Allman on Statesboro Blues, the Live at the Fillmore East version, he's tuned to an open E chord. And honestly, once you tune your guitar to an open E chord,
it starts getting a lot easier.
And you just realize how he's moving up into these phrases.
Yeah.
Now, on that particular, I mentioned that recording in particular because his pitch is just perfect,
stellar.
And, I mean, he's just so laser sharp with it.
Yeah.
And that's why that particular recording has legs as an example of blues rock.
That's usually guitar. From recording, how people get really, really solid at pitch on slide. It's like they record, they hear themselves back and go, that sounded way better when I played it earlier.
But so I'm not diminishing Dwayne's playing on that, but I'm saying when you go to an open E tuning, you realize, now he's just playing phrases and creating the vibe. Da, 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 da. Now, but he's not all over the neck. He's really able to just work between 2 frets. And now the other technique is he's muting all the others. There's tons of string control and string management going on.
Yeah.
But in terms of we're just talking about the notes he's playing.
Right.
You know, it's
like playing slide is sort of like herding cats, the way you have to like constantly control all these strings, especially when you have a really hot amp that's feeding back live.
Oh, that's fun.
Which is what you want when you're playing slide. You actually want a really hot tone.
That's right.
But you know, even when you hear Derek Trucks play slide, obviously he can do really, really fantastic things, but it's not so much actually those things. It's more his approach, his unique scales that he's and also just one of the coolest things about slide, if you're an accomplished guitar player, is it makes you slow down and play things that you might not play.
You have to be thoughtful.
You have to be thoughtful.
By the way, I feel I've said this before, but I feel that way if I play without a pick. I have to play deliberately.
Sure.
I can't just slop my way into standard licks.
Right.
So my timing gets tighter.
Yeah.
My phrases are more thoughtful.
Right.
Because it's sort of like, I've got to select string by string, note by note.
Sure.
And it just makes me a little better.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a great call to sort of vary it quite a bit. And one of the greatest things I think about guitar, I was talking to a bunch of students about this yesterday. Guitar has got to be one of the instruments that has the most, what we call special techniques in notation. So,
interesting.
Yeah, special techniques.
I guess violin and cello would have.
They have quite a few, but nowhere near.
But they can't
do
pick slides.
Well, yeah. Then I mean, just God, the number. Like when you're if you're a notation software creator and you're assigned the guitar division, they're like, hey, can I have the? I'll take the harp or something. Can I have to do? Because the guitar has so many different things that you're sort of expected to be able to do that are from tapping to sliding to. Raking to sweeping, and are you sweeping? Are you raking? I don't know. And so there's just endless techniques on guitar.
That's a good point. You see that Bruno Mars was tapping on the Grammy?
I saw that. Yeah,
good for you, Bruno.
And Chris Payton plays guitar for him. Somebody I know.
This one you know?
Yeah. And so, anyways, I thought it was great. By the way, that's cool. That performance was really good.
I was like, I'm just not much of a Grammys or an award show person.
Yeah, I have trouble.
So I was poking it, but the Nuggets. Thunder game was much more compelling, but I caught that opening and was like, oh, cool, first song, lots of guitars. I was like, I'm seeing Les Paul on TV. This is nice.
Like I think they did a full costume change at one point and came out and did another song. It's like, but so anyways, the point is, it's when you get sick of guitar or when you're like, I don't know. If you grab a slide or you work on another technique like that, the challenge comes right back on board.
That's great.
And the interest re-enters too.
Very much.
Or it should. I mean, because you want to try to stay a lifelong learner on this. And the good news is there's so many special techniques. I mean, if you wanted to start playing classical guitar tomorrow, you know what I mean?
That's a great example. There's just a whole other, there's centuries, well, not that much, but there's,
I mean, yeah,
1800s in Spain. That's when we start to in terms of the standard tuning. But yes, there's over 150 years of a complete style of guitar about which I have really relatively no knowledge.
More than that we do have knowledge about, if you think about it. Like the history of the guitar, there's more of it that wasn't electrified.
Correct.
And used catgut strings.
That's a really great example.
And also the greatest thing about classical guitar and nylon string guitar or fingerstyle guitar, you don't need to play with anybody else.
No.
It's something where you can encapsulate the entire song on your own, and you're not really limited to using it. Like you can go camping with it. You can do all kinds of stuff.
Well, I think that about chord melody playing.
Yeah.
Same thing, because now all of a sudden it's a very, very you're playing by yourself, but you can play an entire song.
Yeah.
But to really properly, in my case, I always think to myself, this is the year I'm going to buckle down and properly learn like the Chet Atkins finger style, like with the alternate bass line stuff and like what John McClellan is one of my favorites at, all that stuff. Yes, like how long have I been playing guitar? And I mean, I could always go study something properly. I've never studied jazz, properly studied jazz.
Yeah.
And it's like, why not take book yourself 10 private lessons with a jazz guitar instructor.
Sure,
and watch it open your playing. We're never done. I think of George Harrison when he picked up slide in late 1969. But by the way, he's a very young. He's still in his mid-20s practically.
I know.
But he's at the tail end of his time as a Beatle, so he's already had this massive influence on others with his instrument. And he extends himself as a guitar player. He extends his life, his what's the word I want? His
repertoire, his
vitality as a musician.
It's not gonna go, yeah.
Just sort of by putting on that slide. And what's interesting is he never really played blues. He never does anything bluesy, right? You would never confuse George Harrison's slide playing with Duane Allman's. They were playing slide at the same time, but you would never mistake one for the other. And I think George comes from it. It seems to me, to my ear, when I study his playing, it seems like his time with the sitar completely informs his slide playing. The intervals that he just kind of chooses these really long, wide intervals. And generally always stays in standard tuning.
Right.
And so, which forces him into these
He's like me.
single line melodic things.
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated by that. But
it's really hard to switch strings when you're in standard tuning the whole time. It's not impossible, but it's not as smooth. That's for sure.
It's not as smooth. Mainly because other than I think I've spoken about this before. Other than the D, G, and B strings.
Yeah.
Now across the
assuming
fret,
you're major,
you can make that's a major triad. So you can take a slide, and if you play just those three strings, you can have this triad moving. But then again, like I said, but when it goes to the minor chord, I guess you have to go to G, B, and
the F6
E.
chord. Yeah.
Now you have a minor triad.
Yeah.
Like if you play an A minor, and if I had a slide. Okay, but so there's a couple of string combinations where you in standard tuning where you can use a slide but you start to become limited pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like if you're learning ZZ Top songs, that's a good way to learn standard tuning slide stuff. I should ask Mr. Gibbons about. Well, we're in next week. We start doing some shows with ZZ Top. That's right. So Greg told us.
I'll ask him about that.
That's so. Tell me what you're expecting about those shows. Will you be on stage with them at all? Do you think?
No. We never do like that. It's very rare that we'll ever do. We just they'll do their show, we'll do ours. But we'll at catering talk stuff or walk through each other's gear. I mean, I can't wait to walk through and look at all of Billy's gear.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, and last Wednesday, we weren't able to do the show, but because I played the Roxy.
How'd that go?
It was great. Marcus King brought and played his 1959 Les Paul.
Oh, wow.
He brought it.
That's the one, that's the famed one.
Well, the one I told the story.
With the controversy and everything. Yes.
Not a controversy, but just like the someone had put their initials on the back of the headstock over the serial number, and that's what lowered the price and made it affordable for Marcus.
Yeah.
And
what did he think? Is he in love with it?
Oh yeah, he plays it so wonderfully. If you go to my Instagram, in the stories, there's like a little, it's say Roxy or something like that, and there's some clips, and I'll post some more clips because there was a lot of footage of when he sat in, and he went through. We have a early '70s master volume super reverb on the truck, and we put him through that. And I think he had a blues driver pedal on top. I think he threw a blues driver on top, and it just sounded like it was just really great. What's really, really nice was the amp. Those amps are so big. I mean, it's still 40 watts, but it's a master volume. I mean, they project really a lot. And there was hair on his tone, but it was still relatively, like, you can tell every note that guitar.
Yeah.
It's just very clear.
Right.
It's just so clear. Played beautifully. And Charlie Crockett, another buddy of ours, he came out and he did a couple of songs with us, and he has this beautiful nylon string. I just thought it was a new guitar because it's
pristine.
In such great condition.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a 1962 Gibson nylon
Oh,
string.
wow.
And that's his main guitar.
Really?
That's the one that he's had since he was like busking on the streets, I think. So
wow.
and so his tech said, "Yeah, I'm kind of always keep my eye out for another 62 Gibson nylon string because
I've never even heard of that before.
I didn't know they made. Yeah, I know.
I've never heard of that.
I didn't know that they made them, but it sounds beautiful. Lucas Nelson also
it didn't come with a pickup. He added a pickup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lucas Nelson had a Danocaster with 2 humbuckers. And he goes, and that's a guy who doesn't play with picks.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. We did Long White Cadillac, and I had him take. Well, we were kind of soloing over each other. But it was really interesting. Yeah, that to hear him, he was the one lead player of the whole night that didn't use picks, and yeah, his phrases are different.
Yeah, right. Right.
Think about for those of you guitar pickers. Again, kind of what Dylan's saying. Like, go ahead and change up your routine. Pick up a slide, try an open tuning, play around with a capo, or just try not using a pick.
Yeah.
And just find a backing track on YouTube and try soloing over it and just see what the difference is. It really kind of just readdresses how you approach your instrument. And it's good. It's healthy. It's really, really healthy.
And even with not using a pick, if you're George Benson, you're using your thumb really super fast.
The Wes Montgomery.
A lot of other guys, if you're Mark Knopfler. So, I mean, even without a pick, the variance in the way you approach it is unbelievable.
That's a really good point.
If it's Pima or it's all I mean, George Benson, a guy that uses his thumb and plays just ridiculous things. Things that no human should play.
Yeah, you never really think of like, oh, it's clearly he's just using his thumb.
It's a thumb, folks. And it was because Wes Montgomery, his hero, used his thumb. And so, but the thumb has this ability to create like a very sentimental sounding strum, if you will, because it's kind of a muted strum because of.
I was going to ask, is that why?
Yeah.
Yes, of course, it makes sense.
It's a very humanistic
strum. Have you ever seen those? They make those picks out of felt.
Yes,
usually
yeah.
Bass
people use those. Yeah,
them
exactly.
Because it'll sound like the softness of the.
And they don't want a lot of times when they're recording because they don't want
the clicking.
But so if you think about it, using your thumb like that to get and having that level of speed is really quite phenomenal. It's hard to understand how you're doing that.
Jim, I'm glad that made sense, Jim, with the Mixolydian there. So I was trying to think of other what else happened to me at guitar world. I don't know, but merely I just loved her question about records in Mixolydian.
Yeah,
and well, you see, Marilee, she generally does not use a pick, and I, as her private instructor, I never push her to use a pick. To me, I'm thinking, unless she demands it, I'm thinking so far, play. That's how you're going to develop your voice.
Sure.
That's where that's going to come from.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I'm all for it. I'm all for like, unless someone comes to me in order to change their style, or they want to learn a specific, like if we were, I get people, they want Bakersfield Country, Don Rich, yada yada. And it's like, okay, we'll really be hybrid picking for that.
Right.
The physical sharpness, the attack of the pick is a big part, and of course, bridge, the bridge pickup, really bright, clear tone, string popping, chicken picking, all that stuff is there. Then okay, so you're coming to me for that. Well, then these are the things that style demands,
right?
But if you're just learning, if you want to learn more about the fretboard, learn more about about the theory or things like that, or how to play through changes, that has nothing to do with whether you use a pick or not.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, oh no, I don't want to change the sound of your attack or your overall tone. We want to talk about scale tones versus chord tones and that sort of stuff. And some of these things are not as dynamic dependent, and all the what was the phrase you used when you're writing for guitar, like notation and all the
special techniques.
The special techniques, yeah. Sometimes,
and if you, from the listener's point of view, it's hard to believe this, but it's a biological phenomenon. So you hear tone before you hear a note. Before you even hear volume, you hear tone because you hear the attack of something. And that has to do with like your fight or flight system, the limbic system. And so you hear sort of the edge of something, or whether it has an edge or not, to determine if there's danger.
It's like if I'm listening to someone speak to me in a foreign language and I don't know the words, but I just need to get happy, sad, am I in trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're, it's almost like there's like a meter the whole time that's
I can only
out.
listen to tone because
exactly.
I don't know what the words
exactly.
are.
Yeah.
But in this case, we so you're saying within nanoseconds.
Milliseconds, you're deciphering tone before you decipher notes and volume. So when we think about players, believe it or not, we actually think about their tone before we just about think about anything. And if I say Stevie Ray Vaughan or something like that, you think about this, like you think about like kind of a gospel slash, what was the name of the guitar player he was inspired by?
Albert King.
Albert King. Like
we hear a lot
of
scraping where he'll bend one string, but he grabs the other.
Aggressive guitar styles. Sort of stuff. Yeah.
Which is funny because Albert, okay, so that's a great example of
imitation? No.
Necessity being the mother and also imitation. Yeah. So Albert King, Stevie, and again, when you go listen to Albert King, you're thinking, oh, okay,
that's where that came from.
I get it. I see it. Now, Albert was left-handed.
Right.
He played a flying V, but he did not restring the guitar. So imagine, when Albert would play, obviously his high strings are sitting
on the top.
On top.
Just like Eric Ailes Jr. and a lot of people.
So when he would go for a bend, he would pull down.
Right.
And he would just grab other string. Right, but he was pulling down and he would just grab multiple strings. So you'd hear this, and then he chooses to go single. Well, clearly Stevie Ray does that, but it's not because of the necessity of the physical angle. He just had to like
figure out how to make that tone,
way,
right?
As if he were a left-handed player on a standard strung guitar. Yeah, it's very, very Albert King.
Learning a Stevie Ray Vaughan solo. The notes of it is one thing. Learning how to make it sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan is a completely different thing, and it's actually generally not that easy to do for most people. That's why there's people that emulate Stevie's tone really well, and they're kind of known for it amongst players around town and stuff like that. So, Phil Collins, Dr. Phil,
Stace, Phil.
The guy that came on the show.
He was
very much so. Very much so.
He was with Melissa Etheridge.
That's right.
I mean, what was great about that Phil Stace, well, he's aware. He knows.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's openly talked about Stevie and that style of playing, and we're lucky guys out there doing it that well.
Yeah. Well, he's really good at it. Yeah. So I think this concept of thinking about tone before you think about notes, before you think about scales, before you think about chords, is actually the concept that connects the most with the listener.
That's fascinating.
And yet, from a guitar player's angle, especially in the beginning of guitar playing, you're really quite focused on notes. You're really quite focused on, and you have to be. You need the content. You need the content. But the wrapper the content comes in,
the tone
is the tone, and it's everything from the amp. You'll notice a lot of the people we're talking about, whether it be Eric Johnson or Stevie Ray Vaughan or whoever, they have very specific gear and approaches to gear. It wasn't like they just grabbed anything and played it. They had this very kind of like famous, like Eric Johnson, famously.
Oh right.
He'll
use a weak battery.
He wants it to
TS9.
Kind of. So these are like really specific sort of accoutrements to one's tone that create a stylistic, personalized sound, and that is something that you can start messing with right away. And I think one of the reason I'm mentioning this conversation is because I'm there with a bunch of college students that are there studying guitar, and God bless them, they're going to be broke for the rest of their life, so they may as well enjoy it. And so, but the point is, sorry, we'll take the money. But the point is, no, the point was you better start thinking about your tone now, because if you wait, you have no signature. You have no signature. It's your tone and your approach and what it is that you do in a way that other people either don't do it or that a select people do it that gives you your edge. And so, that's advice to everybody. Spend some time trying to figure out what is the tone that I absolutely love in terms of the player's touch, their gear. And then you really just kind of want to run after that. And then you can always change it along the way. We'll see you guys soon.